Exactly. I think legal training is very important, but also this concept of project management, a bit of, shall we say, business administration knowledge, because working as a choreographer is being in the studio and making work it has turned out to be just a small part of the work. Then it is looking for funding, establishing a network, promoting yourself, doing different kind of advertisements through personal contacts, through websites. There is a whole bunch of work within which that creative work in the dance studio or wherever you do your work is embedded. And I think in dance education, in my experience, and when I look at most curriculum, it's almost the opposite in terms of proportion of what you do. And then you can say, well, of course, but it should be like that, because in the end you have to be able to do your work, and which is to make dance or to dance, which I totally agree with, but it is incredibly difficult and gives rise to so many uncertainties if you're not quite versed in that whole contextual sphere that involves law, business management, advertising, marketing, things like that. This idea of like breakthrough, but yeah. This is a bit what I think that is a myth. I don't really see, of course there are breakthroughs and some choreographer dancers suddenly, wow, gets immediately recognized. But I think for the big majority of people it is that very slow, gradual process.
Acquiring reputation and recognition, and yeah, it's a struggle, basically.
For instance, me and most of the other collaborators, we were like, okay, let's get on here with the task and do something. And then there was this particular person who said, but no, hang on, we have to think, what do we want to get out of this? And it was almost like, okay, but we don't know yet what it is we want to get anything out of it. It was just completely different perspectives. We were a group of people who tried to do something in order to see if it was at all possible to get something out of it, but that other person totally kind of broke through with a different concept of we have to first define what we want to get out of it, and then we can decide what to do. When people are totally unrecognized in terms of critical reception and audiences, then I think there is usually very, very little discussion going on about the gains, as it were. This becomes increasingly important once you have achieved that, shall we say, success.
That's what I'm thinking, yeah.
Then these things become terribly important. Like I said, as soon as money comes into the picture.
Yes.
What was a bit absurd about this project last summer was that there was absolutely no money involved in it whatsoever, and the anticipated outcome was for a very actually closed private event as well. So it was totally out of the question from the very outset that there would be any, shall we say, critics or external recognition. And yet, like I said, there was this idea from one particular person in the group that we still have to think about that, which to me, it became very apparent in that particular context, because to me that particular project could never ever become anything but a very confined, enclosed project that doesn't reach further. But the reason why I tell this is that still in that very, shall we say, simple, not involving money at all context, these issues can still disrupt the process and have conflicting views. So, and this is why I say you cannot say it's homogeneously going across the board like that, but I think generally no money involved, it's more focused on the artistic process. The more recognized you are, the more successful you are, the more these things becomes important.
And you definitely felt that this person raising these considerations kind of disrupted the process for a little while and disrupted, like kind of shifted you off the route that you're all taking together and made you...
Well, if I put it like this, we were working together for a few weeks, and I was kind of the, shall we say, organizer of the overall thing, but as that organizer I was very non-prescriptive in what every contributor did. We were essentially a set of people, some movement artists, a filmmaker, musician, costume designer. Essentially, I said, okay, everyone feel free. The costume designer can do whatever they like in terms of costume. The filmmaker can do whatever, projection, or film interaction. This particular person that raised the issue of what we were going to get out of it was the person dealing with the film matters. Now, as we worked here, it was kind of incremental. We did things and we experimented and so on, but still, 2 days before the actual performance, we still had no projection, no film. And we had absolutely no impact, no artistic impact that we doing movement, costumes, and could relate to in relation to the film. Yeah? So the problem I'm trying to say here is that that person got so caught up with this idea, what do I want to get out of this, so that it totally stopped the person from actually producing anything. And it stopped the collaboration from fully working, because we could not collaborate through, shall I say, responding to these visual elements that was supposed to be there in the process. So I think, yeah, I think that sometimes it is very problematic, and I think in this particular case it really impoverished the work, because that filmic aspect, which I had hoped would be part of the collaboration, as it were, where people can respond, react, comment to, and derive from, it just didn't happen.